Okay, it's Tuesday afternoon, and in my last video, if you remember, I said I was going to have it painted this morning. So you can see that didn't happen. Got a good excuse. Woke up this morning to dark skies and thunder, and it started raining really hard. We ended up getting about 3 inches of rain today, maybe a little more. I think that's what they said, around midday. And it was still raining, so even if I wanted to try to paint in the garage, it was just so humid, everything was so wet, it probably wouldn't have worked well. It wouldn't have been a good idea to try. And I didn't realize I put so much time in part 3. I thought I was going to finish this thing in part 3. It looks like I'm going to make a part 4. I just started videotaping out here a minute ago, and it said my card was full. I thought my card held more than that. Probably because I keep using it over and over and erasing it. Probably going to have to get a new memory card. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do a little painting tonight. I'm not sure if what I've got is going to work. This is that can of acrylic lacquer I told you about. I bought a long time ago. I bought it in the 80s, so I need to see if it's still any good. It's never been opened since I bought it. And you can shake it up and you can hear liquid moving around in there. And I'm just trying to use what I have because it's been sitting around. I have no use for it and I want to use it up. And since this is something that is not picky, we're going to do a little experimenting. I have some hardener, which is supposed to be for enamel. I want to see if it works on my lacquer. I don't know how that'll work. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, if it doesn't work, I don't really care. I'll go out and get the stuff I need if they still have lacquer hardener. Surely they do. Not many people use it. And I also have some clear coat hardener, which is acrylic urethane, and it says something about urethane on this. So we'll do a little learning, find out what you can and can't use, if anything else. Like I said, we'll do it on a test piece. If it doesn't work, who cares? We'll see what, and then I'll go get what I need to get tomorrow. Okay, let me start doing some mixing, make sure my paint's good, and we'll prep a little piece of scrap metal and see what it looks like, see how if it hardens or dries. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, we have our, I don't know, about 15 to 18-year-old, actually it's almost 20-year-old can of paint opened up. And I don't know if it's because of the age, or maybe it's just not the color I thought, but it's a lot darker than I thought it would be. But you know what? We'll try it anyway. Stirred it up. Actually, it looked like more of a ruby red with no metallic. We'll see how it turns out. Like I said, it doesn't matter anyway, but I'm just curious to see if this stuff will actually even work. We'll pause the camera and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, we're a little farther along here. I played around, experimented with a test piece down there, and as you can see right now, it's not super shiny. I like the color of it though. I wish I had painted my Torino with it. And the reason it's not so shiny, it dries too quick. It's something I kind of forgot about. If I had some slower drying lacquer thinner for paint, all I've got is some virgin lacquer thinner, which is good for primer and cleaning and stuff. Actually, it's probably a little too fast drying for primer. But what I tried after I sprayed it just like that on my test piece. I sprayed it with some clear coat. It's a urethane. Yeah, it's urethane clear coat. And actually, I didn't have the right reducer for it, so I tried the reducer that is for my POR 15 paint. It seemed to work okay. This is still tacky, but I think it's going to dry okay. I do have the right hardener for it. So I'll go ahead and shoot the clear. We'll see how this looks. Looks like it's getting dark on me. I don't know if I want to pull that whole Sandblaster in this small area and try to paint it or not. I'd rather paint it outside. So I might shoot some clear on this and wait till morning. Hopefully it won't be raining again. See how it's kind of turning white there. I think that clear will get that out of there. We'll find out. Hang on, I'll show you the results. Okay, there's what it looks like after, it's about 3 coats of clear. Not bad, really, considering we're using the wrong reducer on both the paint and the clear. I think, see, I don't have enough daylight left to drag that tank outside and do it. I'm going to have to do it in the morning. I'm hoping it don't rain. I think all the rain's moved out. But I think I'm going to find out how this, we'll see how this cures. And I think what I'll do, I'm going to head out early in the morning and go ahead and get my correct reducer for both paint and clear, just to see if my theory is correct on the slow evaporating reducer. Like I said, the main reason I'm spending all this time just painting on an actual Sandblaster cabinet is I wanted to do some practicing with my painting again too, which I won't be shooting lacquer anyway, but I think it's a good little learning experience for us. But yeah, that looks nice and shiny. Got some orange peel in it, but I just shot it like, this hasn't even been 5 minutes since my last coat. A lot of that, when it dries, it'll flow out. Of course, if it was a car, I would wet sand and buff it afterwards, but that's not bad. Okay, so hopefully tomorrow morning we'll head out early and get everything we need and come back and paint the tank. Stay tuned. Hopefully we can end this video tomorrow. Okay, it is Saturday, about the middle of the day. Very pretty day, by the way. We had a lot of rain and all the hot weather moved out. Not too bad of storms, just some thunder and lightning, a lot of rain. As you can see, we got this thing painted. We need to flip it over and assemble it. Let's see, when did I paint that thing? Did it Wednesday, then I cut some grass. It was a pretty busy day. And really, Thursday I didn't do much. It was just nasty weather again. And yesterday it was kind of cold and I had to go take care of had to go get some checks endorsed for my hail damage through the mortgage company and all that. And as you can see, we got a few other things going on around here. Thought I'd throw that in this video too. I don't know what the owner of this property is up to. Probably no good. At one time he thought he was going to put a subdivision here. Found out he couldn't. I don't know if he pulled some strings and thinks he's going to be able to now or not. But as you can see, he stripped all this off. Hopefully somebody else in the area just complained about being overgrown. Even though it kind of looked like crap, I myself did not mind the overgrown field because it gave me a good shield between me and this subdivision back here, which you still can't hardly see because of the tree line, but it just really blocked a lot of sound and stuff like that. But we'll see what he's up to. I don't know how that's going to affect me, if it does at all. Hopefully, worst case scenario will be me putting up a privacy fence and everybody leaving me alone. Maybe possibly some good neighbors out of it. You know, I don't want to have any problems with anybody. I like getting along with people, but I know how sometimes in these new neighborhoods, when you got stuff laying around like I do, as you can see, I got junk back there, which I will gladly clean up. But I just like to be able to have the freedom to work on my stuff without anybody around complaining about it. So I'm a little concerned about that. We'll see what happens. Angel's rolling around in something. I hope it isn't something that stinks. Anyway, back to the Sandblaster. We need to get this thing flipped over and assembled. So really, I'm just kind of being lazy. It's the last part of my vacation. I got one more day off. I'm not looking forward to going back, but I'd like to at least get this thing together and try it out and hopefully start working on my truck a little bit, at least maybe tomorrow or Monday after work. Yeah, don't like the sound of that. Okay, so let me get this thing flipped over and show you what it looks like all put together. Okay, it's Sunday, June 10th. Nice cool morning out. And as you can see, I finally got this thing together. Nowhere near when I predicted doing it. I was going to do it like the next day after I painted it. Didn't happen. Don't even want to give you an excuse. All I know is it's ready to try out now, though. Show you how it all looks. All painted up and together. I think it doesn't look bad for homemade. I think I'm gonna kind of like how this works out. As you see, I got the stick-on protective shield or lens for the for the glass door. We'll see how that stuff works out. Actually, I had to use 2 pieces. We'll see how that stuff may or may not work well. I don't know. We'll see. I've never used it before. It would be nice if it does, because I think it's cheaper and easier to replace than buying a new piece of Lexan every now and then, because that is Lexan, which isn't cheap. Matter of fact, I wanted to replace my broken window over there with Lexan. I priced it at Home Depot at $78 for a 3x4 sheet, 3 feet by 4 feet. I think I need to price around. They probably do you on Lexan the same as they do on like the tubing I told you about for this door. You go to a supplier specialized in that stuff, and it's usually a lot cheaper. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Here's how it all looks all together. Got my new glove kit on there. I got me a piece of my exhaust pipe for the truck in there, getting ready to test this thing out. I hooked up the shop vac last night, and when you turn it on, it's pretty close to airtight. It kind of sucks the glass in and picks the gloves up, and so I'm hoping this shop vac, sorry about the camera pointed at the ground, I was trying to get the air hose situated with one hand. I like the way this fitting just kind of screws into the side there. And as you can see, the glove kind of picks up there. Help this one along there. Shut it off. Okay, I'm going to shut this camera off for a minute, give it a test run, show you how it works, and call this a video. We'll finally be able to complete this sandblasting series here and hopefully get back to some Power Stroke project videos. Haven't touched this thing in nearly a month. The Sandblaster project on top of overtime, even though I was on vacation for a week, but I don't know, they just kind of wore me out at work, and I've been staying up too late, stuff like that. Anyway, blah blah blah. Let me try this thing out and I'll show you how it works. Okay, I don't know how well this is going to turn out on camera. As you can see, the bottom part from about there to there is etched. It seems to work pretty good. And what I really liked about the vacuum system is that everything stayed clear. I didn't get a lot of dust where I couldn't see what I was doing. Yeah, that's working pretty darn good, which this is a new bag of blasting media, but I can see some dust, you know, rising as a sandblast is, so I guess my little ventilation system is working pretty good. Not working bad at all. It's drawing good, but this is a cheap gun. That glove kit that I bought, I noticed, come from a company called Sandblaster. And so did the protective lens, which I've just started. We'll see as time goes on, but it doesn't look like it's scarring as easy as the Lexan or actually even glass would. Usually when you replace it, you'll start to see a haze immediately from all the sand and media bouncing off of it. And it gets hard to see after a while, and it makes your sandblasting a lot more difficult to do. But maybe there's something about this plastic, it holds up a little better. We'll see. I know it eventually will get hazy to look through, but it's, like I said, it's a lot cheaper and easier to replace that than a whole piece of glass or Lexan, whatever you're using. But yeah, I'm liking this, and we'll see how my ventilation system works. After I've used this for a while, get some dirty stuff in here and there'll be more dust. I wasn't sure how I was going to draw with my hose. It's just, you can see that black hose, it's just run down through there instead of being plumbed in the bottom like it used to be. That had its good points and bad points. I just thought I'd try this. If anything, if my hose keeps getting above the blasting media, I may try to just get a piece of steel pipe, lay it down in there. That way it won't be trying to come up to the top. It's a little heavier, and plumb my rubber hose into that. But tell you what, I think this was worth the effort, even though you know, it took me a lot longer than I planned on to do this. Part of that was my fault. Part of it was a little more work. I ended up doing more work than I planned on. And part of it was my fault due to I just wasn't motivated like I should be. I haven't been for a long time. I still get some stuff done, but hopefully if I can just get this power stroke together enough where I can fire it up, hear it run, move it in and out, be ready for body work, it'll motivate me. Just wanting to drag race should be motivation enough. But I tell you what, I'm glad I spent the time to do this Sandblaster, because now I got a decent Sandblaster like I've always wanted for a long time. I bet I can't open this door with the vacuum on. Oh, yes I can. As you can see, it's not too dusty. It's already got some sand stuck up against there. But it's not super dusty in there where you can't see. Okay, we'll call this Sandblaster, Building a Sandblaster Part 4. It's finished, thank goodness. But even though it took longer than I should have on it, I'm glad I did it, because I got a pretty nice size Sandblaster for not a lot of money. Spent more money than I planned to, but not as much as if I would have bought one that size, like I said before. Sandblaster about that size, $600, and that's probably the lowest price you'll find. Some about that size were even more expensive. And the Harbor Freight model I was telling you about, it was $219. That was on sale. I went back there about a week ago, and it went back up to $299. And it's a little bit bigger than half this size. It's about from here over, so you can take that for what it's worth. And yeah, that's about it. We can roll it around nice and easy, move it where we want. I may keep it over there, because it seems like it's not going to be making a huge mess when I use it. In that way, I don't have much room in my little rotten shed, which I still need to tear down someday and rebuild. I may end up rolling it over here against the wall, make a good place for it, clear some stuff out, and yeah, keep it over there. Whenever I want to use it, I can roll it outside or roll it next to the door, open the door, and do some sandblasting without making a mess. And from here on out, as far as doing stuff that is too big for the tank, I'm not going to do it like you see me do a lot of this stuff, which that worked. It got the job done, but we're just going to come up with another way. Either just do it outside, or I talked about buying a pop-up tent, using it as a sandblasting room, stuff like that. Maybe one day I will actually build a sandblasting room big enough to get a whole frame in. Maybe the whole vehicle. Lots of plans. Don't know if I got time to do it all, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And stay tuned for more videos. Well, I guess we'll be back on the Power Soak project for the next video. I'm hoping to get some parts sandblasted today. Not going to video all that. I videoed sandblasting to death when I did all that. Okay, thanks for watching. I'm blabbing again.